Hey everybody, welcome to the channel and welcome to a new playthrough. This time we're going to be going through the game Discover Lands Unknown by Fantasy Flight Games. And I'm not exactly sure who the designers are, I'd have to look them up. But we're going to be playing this in solo mode. And I mean, unless you've been, if you follow board game videos and you have been not paying attention, you would not have seen this game. But if you follow board game videos, you will see that there are lots of playthroughs happening about over this game. And when I saw that, I was thinking, yeah, maybe I don't do a playthrough of this. But here's the deal: every box that you get. And I was trying to figure out how they did this, and I did. They have like all these different SKUs that are singly wrapped with tokens and stuff like that. And so it maps it all out through some type of probably pretty robust algorithm to box up different components for the game to make each gaming experience somewhat unique. In other words, there is no game of this that's going to be exactly like another. And I'm not talking about just the way it plays, I'm talking about the actual components in the game. And so you'll get a different book. There's two different books. One is scenarios 1, 2, and 3, for example, of Discover Lands Unknown. Then you get the other ones which take you through the later scenarios. And you're going to have different terrain types. So I highly recommend, if you're really interested in this game, you want to see what the variety looks like, I recommend bouncing around the internet. I'll give you some examples. One Stop Co-op Shop has done this. Rolling Solo did an unboxing. I don't know if they did a full playthrough. Meet Me at the Table, I think, is doing one, and there's a guy called Jeff. He's got a really good one out, and he's on a completely different train set. Because I noticed that a lot of the first scenarios start in these valley trains or plains trains, and they're kind of similar. But that one, he's starting in a desert train, so it shows you how different it is and how different the scenarios are. So I figured based on that, I think this is worth a playthrough because you can compare it to the other guys. Now, I am going to be doing a blind playthrough, but I've watched a number of videos and I've read the rules. It's not incredibly, it's pretty intuitive as far as the rule sets go. The most challenging part is setting up the game. And the reason for that is because you have all these different components you have to sort out for the different things, and I'll just kind of pan over so you can see what's going on my table. All the green ones to the left there are the ones, well, all the tokens for the left there are mainly for this scenario that we're playing, the first 3 scenarios in the valley. And those other ones over there are for the next set of scenarios, which we won't get into now. Well, I'll leave that as a surprise if we get that far. And also, we'll take a look at the scenario book and all that good stuff. But we are set up to play at this point. The only thing I haven't done is pick a character, but first I think I'm going to talk to you about the scenario that we're in. Then we're going to talk about, or first the landscape, then the scenario, and how we set it up. And then we'll pick a character, because we're going to be playing solo. And, there's another one. I think it's just another board game. I don't know. One of them has a multiplayer one of this, which I think would be interesting to see, because it does play quite different. There's a different set of cards, for example. Some different sets of cards that you would use if you're playing multiplayer, which this can do. It can be up to 4 players. And each player gets their own dial and all that good stuff. But let's talk first about the specific landscape that we're in, which is the valley. Now remember, this is a survival game, meaning that in this solo scenario, we're going to be playing an individual that is trying to survive and escape this terrain and get out, get away, whatever. And I don't know that every scenario is get out, but the one we're going to be playing is. So we'll take a look at that, and we'll take a look at some of the components and the things that need to happen. Again, really intuitive game. You know, you have a set of stamina, you explore, you do this, that, and the other thing to try and survive, eat, gather food, blah, blah, blah. And we'll gather those resources as we go, and I can show you what they do. But let's go look at the terrain that we're going to be on and what we had to do to set up. So guys, there are plenty of videos that detail the specific and individual setup that already exists. So we're just going to run through the valley components that we have. So as you can see, on the left side here, it says Valley components are used for scenario 1, 2, and 5. We're going to be playing scenario 1, which is a scenario I've seen already, but I think that's, you kind of got to start there, right? So we're going to start with scenario 1, and we'll read the scenario in a moment. To do that, we had to set up, we have many more cards than this, right? But we had to set up the exploration deck, which is cards number 1 through 60, and you may not have every card in that range. So if you're missing a card, you don't go, oh my god, I'm missing it. It doesn't matter because it's set up that way on purpose. So then you have the enemy cards, 61 through 88. You see that asterisk? That's basically to tell you that you may not have every card. Then you have the crafted items, 88 through 99. I got those all set up. And these ones all stay in order because they come out based on tiles and events that occur in the game, right? And then you have your project deck, which we're going to deal with in a few minutes. Where we get out the projects that will be available to us in a single-player game, which in a solo game is 3 different projects that we can build. And then we've built the threat deck out of the blue cards. We've already done that. There's blue and orange, but we won't be dealing with the orange ones. And then we got all these tokens ready, and I've got them all set up already. So, for example, there's 48 Valley feature tokens. There's 12, which I think that's wood or whatever, stone, animals. Oh, that's wood. So I don't remember what that one is. But anyway, there's these terrain features. And then there's 3 water tokens. That's for building a permanent water source. There's monsters that are specific not only to this landscape, but my box. So the monsters that come out may be different for different people. It's kind of interesting. And then a campfire, which we have out already on the map. On the other page, it shows you, just a little thing to point out, it actually specifically tells you if you have duplicates of certain cards to remove them. I did that as well. And then over here, it shows you how you're going to lay out the map. Now you see that on here, there's a couple of things that are slightly different. These 4 tokens don't go on the map yet. They go out in a different time period, so as the scenario advances. And it tells you that right here in this box, that in the special rules, you will not place these out now. They will come out later, but they're showing you where they will be placed when they do come out. And then there's this token here that just identifies north, south, east, and west. I didn't put it at the top. I put it close to the bottom so you guys can see it better. And then we're going to read the Valley map setup before I show you the back of this. We'll read the little story. Birdsong wakes you, and at first you stretch and yawn, almost comfortable. The soft moss beneath you makes a fine bed. But as you straighten up, a cool breeze brushes past you with the promise of colder weather to come. Where are you? Snow-cloud peaks surround you on every side, bright and sharp in the morning sun. You stand at the bottom of a bowl-shaped valley, rolling green grass and clumps of hardy pine and spruce trees everywhere. It's beautiful but cold, and aside from a few buildings so old the trees grow right through them, you don't see any obvious signs of shelter. How did you get here? You search your memory and find nothing. You could be 12 miles from the nearest city or 1,000. You have no idea. There's certainly no way out climbing those forbidding cliffs. A single snowflake blows past on the breeze. Wherever you are, you will certainly not survive a winter here. Dum, dum, dum. Okay, so that's the little story that we have. And then if you look on the back, it shows you about terrain features and everything that goes along with, again, this tile set. So we have grass, hills, and mountains. Then it shows the actions that we can take. We'll run through those very quickly. So all actions cost a stamina point. And at the beginning of the game, we have 12 stamina, and then we'll get stamina based on some cards that come out, night cards that we'll talk about. Okay, so we can move together. We can move to an adjacent space by spending stamina equal to the cost, so shown above. So like if we move through grass, it's 1. If we move through hills, it's 2, and mountains, it's 3. And when we're there, if there's something together, we will automatically be able to gather it as part of that action. Now, if we are already on it and we want to gather, it just costs 1 to resolve the token. So it says recover 1 feature token on your space, right? So this is if you move into the space you are entering, then you may perform a gather action without spending stamina. So it's a good, you got to think about, the judicious expenditure of your stamina. Okay, then we can scout. That reveals 1 of the map tokens. It doesn't mean we move. It means we're already on the map edge, and we can reveal a token or a tile with any edge that we are touching. Okay, and then craft. Okay, we can spend resources that we have to craft the items. You'll see that when we pull out that deck where we get our blueprints, our things that we can build. Okay, project cards. Then we can trade, but that's not going to be of importance in this because we were playing solo. We can cook meat if we're at a fire. That's very important because you can't eat the meat until you cook it unless you have some special cards or special abilities, right? We can restart a fire. We can spend 1 wood to light a fire and stamina. Of course, all these cost stamina. Then we can recover. This is important. We'll talk about this in a minute. We can recover from starvation by spending a food, recover dehydration from spending a water, or sickness from spending a medicine. And then loot. We can take 1 resource or item from a casualty in your space. We're not going to have that either because we are not playing against other players. We have 2 special terrain rules. We have the exit features, which I showed you on the other map, and the berries. the thing about the berries is there's a chance on a die, a 12-sided die, 1-3 chance that it will take poison damage and it will get diseased. And we'll talk about that in a minute. And then these are all the resources that you see. There's food, meat, clean water. Now, meat is raw, food is cooked. It's an important distinction. Dirty water, very bad. Dirty water can make us sick. It's risky. Stone, wood, pelt, salvage, which means we're finding stuff that we can build things with, medicine, and poison. All of these are important things. Then frequently overlooked rules. It says when your survivor suffers 4 damage of any type, their player is eliminated. I'll show you how that works. After crafting a project from hand, draw a new project card. People forget that. We always have 3 that we can work on. Each survivor has a carry limit of 10, which includes both items and resources. So we have to really keep track of what's in our pool. And then in the combat step, we'll see how the combat works. It's pretty straightforward and simple. The game is actually very straightforward in that sense. The uniqueness of it is in that we're exploring our own unique world, and that's pretty darn cool. Okay, so that's the scenario, that's the landscape, and you read our story. We woke up in the valley. We don't know who we are. So typical of us, right? Seems like that happens to me a lot. I wake up somewhere and don't know who I am, and I got to figure it out. So that's where we're at. But now we're going to talk about the specific scenario. All right, friends, here's the scenario. It's called Genesis, Scenario 1, Stage 1, July 1975. Carefully searching your new campsite, you find a letter pinned to a nearby tree just waiting for you to find and read it. How much longer can I survive in this forsaken land? I have a plan for escape, taking my supplies and heading out tomorrow. Emmanuel Dixon. I hope that's not one of the characters. Okay. There's someone else here, and he has a plan for escape. The letter is dated only 2 days ago. If you hurry, you may be able to find Dixon and escape with him. After a survivor investigates landmark number 4, advance to stage 2, and you'll see that we have a stage 2 in there, and that's our scenario. Now we're going to go to our character. First off, I'll explain this wheel and how it works. This is our character's wheel here. Now again, in a multiplayer game, everybody would have one. There's one of different colors, and you basically have a corresponding little plastic meeple figure of your survivor that goes with the board. Okay, so let's take a look at this. Now, you saw that I said you can take 4 damage, right? Yes, that's true. Now, there's different types of damage you can take, and you can take 3 of different kinds. So let's say I can't eat. I will starve. Okay, that's simple. That's damage. That's it. I just move it there. Let's say then the next turn I get a disease. Bad news. We'll just do this one. I get a disease. Okay, now we're in trouble. Then let's say next time I get a fight and I get wounded. Now, these ones are bad because you can't just recover them like you can the others. You have to find some way to heal. Medicine, etc. Okay, but let's say that's the scenario. We're standing right now and I cannot fix any of these, and one of these events happens again. We're dead. Okay, so, but we can recover these. Like if I have food, I can eat it before or after to restore my starvation level, and then I now have a point of damage I can take, and it could be different types of damage. So you can see how that works. Okay, now that's one of the ways you lose, by the way, is by having that go south on you. Then we have to pick a character. There's a bunch in the box. Again, it's at random, so we're going to take a look at them. I think I don't know which ones I'm going to pick. I think I'm going to go through them real quick and maybe just draw 4 that we get to choose from. That seems like a good bet. It's normally 2 in a normal game, but I think solo 4, so we're going to give that a go. This here is just the leader token, but it doesn't matter because we're playing solo. So as you can see, we have all these different characters. Everything from a chemist to a used car salesman to a bouncer to a chef to a Girl Scout, hunter, ecologist. So I think I'm going to shuffle this up. And there's some that are multiplayer only, and that's the other reason you want to draw 4, because their abilities are specifically multiplayer, right? They're made for playing with other characters. They have benefits specifically around that. And we do not want to play one of those characters because it would greatly cripple us. And this isn't a difficult game, but it's hard to win. You know, like most games that you can solo and that are co-op in nature, they're pretty tough. So I think we'll just draw that one. We'll cut again, draw that one. Cut again, draw that one. Cut again, draw that one. There we go. Let's see what we got. If we don't like these, I might mulligan, but we'll see. So this is going to be a full playthrough, so I want to make sure we have a good character. What do we have? I think these are going to be pretty good for us. We have Anna Karim. I'll read her ability. She's a painter. It says at the start of your turn, gain stamina equal to the stamina cost of your space. You may then allow any other survivor. See this one? Any other survivor. Let's count her out for the moment. Even though her own ability is pretty good. Chef. For an action, a stamina, at a fire, spend 1 meat to gain 2 food, limit once per day. That is really worth it. Let's look at Felicia De Leon. She's an ecologist. For 2 stamina, we can roll a die and determine an icon. 1 to 4, it's an animal. 5 to 8, stone and wood. Then choose a space that icon and no feature token. Place a feature token. So allows us to get more feature tokens out. That's pretty good too. And then we have Loretta James, the postal worker. Why is she, her and a painter, even the chef in this valley, I don't know. She's a postal worker. You may perform a trade action with 2 other survivors. So she's out too. So it really comes down to these 2. And I think we're going to take Mike Martin, the chef. I like the ability to produce food. Okay. So I think that's what we're going to go for. So this is going to be our playthrough, guys. Now remember, each deck, each box comes with a unique set of characters. I was really wondering if the chemist or there's the sushi chef, the bouncer. These are all good characters, but we're going to go with Mike Martin in this playthrough. If he survives, we'll continue on. If he doesn't, maybe we'll pick a different one. Okay, so that's our character. Now we're going to take this little deck here. This is our projects deck. We're going to shuffle it up. We're going to draw 3 of these that we get to build. So let's do that. Let's say we're going to draw this one. Oh, that's awesome. A bow and arrow costs 3 wood. And then we get to take item 93, which is probably bow and arrow, right? I would imagine. We'll keep going. Let's see. Here we get a pickaxe. Oh, look at that. Weapon and utility. 2 stone and a wood. We get to another item. So these are pretty cool, but it looks like it's going to turn us into a fighter. And then a stone, a pot. Now, I don't know what it does. It's a utility item. It does 2 stone and we get 95. Those are our 3 items that we start with. We also get to start with 1 food and 1 clean water. Now remember, these are not built. We don't use these. We have to make them. And it costs stamina as well as, because it takes an action, costs stamina as well as the resources. And we don't have any additional resources at this point, just that. Okay, so that's pretty good. So we get those, yeah, I'm just going to draw a number of cards from the top of the normal blue deck. Yeah, so on a 1-player game it's 3. So just want to double check that we're correct there. All right. That means that we're almost ready to go. Up here you see we have 2 decks. These are threat decks. We're going to take this orange one and we're just going to put it aside with the numerous other cards we put aside. This is the threat deck we'll be using. We'll shuffle that up. And our night cards, the things that happen to us at night, will determine when these come out and we have to deal with them. I'm just going to put them along here with our decks. This deck I've already shuffled. It's got the 4 easier night cards on top, and then it gets into the more difficult ones as we get along. And then right here I just have that little token there to show us where north, south, east, and west are if we have to roll for a direction of some kind. And guys, that's basically, we're ready to rock. We got everything we can do here. We're in a great place. You know, and hopefully we can survive. So, wake up in this valley. Now we can see over here there's a hills terrain with a binoculars icon on it. It does not do anything for us at this point in the game. And it may not do anything for us in this scenario. I don't know. So, we're going to get started. Now how this works is we're going to spend our stamina, as you read, to take a variety of actions. That could be move, gather, blah, 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 etc., etc. So, I think what we're going to do is we're going to start with a move action. So we'll go to 11 stamina, okay? And we're going to move right to here. So we're starting, guys. Yay, yay. Mike is getting his actions going. All right, so that was a move action. Now, if we were in a place where we could gather resources, we could do that. But then we're going to take a scout action. Puts us down to 10. And I won't explain things as much detail as we get on. I'll just start doing it. Takes us to 10. I'm going to explore this space here. So we're going to flip that over. And look, that's pretty rough. Wow. Okay, so we have a number of icons on there that we're going to have to take a look at. Now, there's one that's a resource icon. I could just grab a resource icon from there, and that shovel doesn't mean anything to me yet. So as you can see, we have this icon, spade icon here, and I need to look it up in the book and see what that is. I don't know. And again, that's kind of intentional, I think, because there are a lot of things that they just don't show you in the game. And I'm just flipping through it, and yeah, I don't see where that shovel icon comes into play. So we'll have to see, maybe from some card or event where that takes place. It's some kind of weird, yeah, I don't know. We can dig something up, maybe. Maybe the item will tell us we can go there and do something. But regardless of that, we are going to place a stone token right there on that feature. Pulled one from at random, and it is going to go right there. And that means we now have a thing that we can scout. But of course, we have to go through the hill terrain to get there, which would cost us an additional 2 stamina. And we're kind of looking for food. So I think we're going to take our next action. Put us down to 9. Sorry, that's blurry. Looking back out. We're going to go down to 9, and we're going to scout this tile here. So we're going to flip that over just like so. Nope, like this, so it will fit. And you can see we have a couple of features on there. This is pretty good, and some hills. This might be really good for us because that feature right there may have some food on it. So we're going to take a token at random from that pile, and it looks like so. And that will go... Whoop, let me do that one because it got messed up and fell over. It's going to go right there. God, medicine would have been nice. And then we have a wood feature up here. We're going to grab one of those off the stack and put it there. And again, you don't know what these are, so you're kind of taking a chance in going to them. So we've done some pretty good exploring. We know that we're getting some stuff going here. And I'll take this full turn, and then we'll go on to, because we did all the rules explanation and setup too, so I don't want this video to be too extremely long. But what we'll do is we'll take our next 2 stamina and go, actually 3. We're going to go 1, 2. We might as well. Now remember, when I move on to a space, stand up, my friend. Hope that's not portents of things to come. We're going to go down 9, 8, 7, 6 to move to that location and gather. So we're going to gather this resource, and we'll see what that is. It is berries. Okay, so we have some berries. Okay, that means we have a little additional food, right? Okay, not the worst thing that could happen. Okay, then we're going to go, I think, exploring is part of the name of the game here, so we're going to go 5, 4 to move to there. I think we're going to move to right there, and I'll tell you why. No, we'll move to here for 4. That puts us at 4. And then we'll get together this space as well. Let's see what we get there. Okay. We get a stone. Okay, remember, all of these resources. Right now I have 4 resources. Okay, out of the 10 that I'm allowed to carry. So before too long, we'll have to spend some of them. Okay, and we have the berries to eat, even though there's a chance they can make us sick. And we'll see what happens in the night phase. Now, we're running a little low on stamina, so for 3, I'm going to put us down to 3. We're going to explore this and see what happens there. Oh, that's a pretty location. I'm definitely going to check that out. But we have a wood tile here, so we're going to put out. I'm trying to find one of those. Let's see. Nope, hold on. Okay, yeah. So we are going to, even though the art on the token doesn't match, this is getting it's only the feature that matters there. That puts us down to 3. So we could go 1, 2, 3 to get there, or we can go 1, 2 and gather. I think we'll do that. We're going to go 1, 2 out of 3 that we have. That'll gather us this. And so we get another wood resource. We're getting somewhere. We're getting to a point where we can build a couple things maybe. That puts us down to 1 stamina for the turn, and then for our end action we will go there. Now I think if we move there, let me look at the action just to be sure, but I think in going there we do not get to investigate. That's a separate action. Resolve an exploration card matching the number of landmark in your space. Yes, that would require us a stamina of which we are out of. So we will not be able to do that on this turn. And that's fine. That's fine. So the next thing we're going to go to is our night phase, and we're going to have basically there's a set of cards that I showed you. They're going to tell us what's going to happen during the night phase. Usually it's going to require us eating, drinking, or something like that. So let's take a look at that. We're pretty far away from our fire. We've done some exploration. We're on a special feature. We're getting some place. That was only our first turn, so it's a pretty healthy turn for us, I think. No beasties out. Nothing's trying to kill us. That's awesome. Okay, guys, here is our night phase. Let's deck. We've already shuffled it up. Let's see what happens. Hunger. Each survivor either spends 1 food or suffers a damage. Well, we're going to spend our food. I have the berries as a backup, so we're going to eat the food that we have cooked. We get light sleep. Each survivor gains 7 stamina. And eventful night. Each survivor not at a fire draws a threat card. Okay, well, so we're going to draw our first threat card as well, but we're going to get back to 7 stamina. Now, you can hold a little stamina over 2, but we didn't do that. And we are going to spend our 1 food token to make sure that we don't go into starvation, and then we're going to have to already draw our first threat. Here's our threat deck that we prepared earlier in this video, so let's see what we get. Oh, snowfall. That's not good. Ongoing. A thick carpet of soft white snow falls overnight. At the start of the night, discard this card. Okay, then, if you are not at a fire, you must either discard 1 pelt or suffer 1 damage. Oh, that's rough. That means we've got to get back to our fire by the end of the we only have 7 stamina. It would take me 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 just to get back there. So maybe we explore the location and then run back to the fire so we don't suffer a disease damage, which I don't know how easy it would be for us to recover from during this this scenario. I don't know. Will we be able to find medicine that would allow us to recover? Now, you saw that I accidentally tipped over a medicine token. I would have had some, but I don't. So, yeah, that's kind of rough. We got to really think about that. And I think that we'll explore this location and then possibly, you know what we could do. So just planning for the future. We'll look at it next turn. I could go explore 1, 2, explore, investigate this, or investigate that rather, explore this. That's 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and get us back to the fire in time. That's probably what we're going to do, but we're going to do that in another video, guys. So thanks for watching. Thanks for subscribing. I hope you enjoy Discover Lands Unknown. And really, guys, I think if you're going to go out and buy a little fun game, a survival type game, this is a really... I've watched enough of this already, even though this is my first playthrough of it and everything. This is a really cool little game. I really like it. It's simplistic, yet there's a lot of complexity to it. I like simple mechanics, complex decisions. Best games ever, right? So, and that's what we have here. Simple mechanics, complex decisions. So, guys, we don't have any damage. We're healthy, but we could take some disease. We could get sick if we don't get back to the campfire before the snow hits us, and that's what we got to do if we're going to have a snow flurry overnight. Not a good thing for us. All right, guys. Thank you so much. Take care. I'll see you in the next video of Discover Lands Unknown by Fantasy Flight Games. And I did say I would say who the designer was. So the game designer is, oh, it's Corey. Okay, Corey Konieczka. Of course, he's like one of the premier designers at Fantasy Flight. He does lots of awesome games. So if you find you like this game and you see his name on something else, pay attention. It's worth it. All right, guys. I'll see you in the next episode. Take care and have a great day.